Have you ever wondered if history is really just one random thing after another? Or what if, for centuries, major events were actually written to a script following some kind of hidden code? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating and, yeah, maybe a little unsettling theory that suggests just that.
All right, so let's really get into this. I mean, think about the grand sweep of history, right? The rise and fall of empires, all the kings and queens. We usually see it as this unpredictable flow of events. But what if for some really key periods there was an underlying mathematical blueprint? A script almost. So to see what this actually looks like, we're going to zero in on one of the most significant powers in European history, the Holy Roman Empire. It's the perfect test case, right? It's long, it's complex, and it is full of data for us to look at. Okay, first up, a simple fact. From the legendary Charlemagne, who was crowned way back in the year 800, all the way to Charles V in 1530, there were exactly 31 emperors. Just a straightforward historical number. Nothing too weird yet, right?
Okay, now let's add another layer to this. Across those 31 different emperors, they only used 13 distinct names. Now again, that's interesting, but maybe not totally earth-shattering. Royal families reuse names all the time, we know that.
But this is where it starts to get really weird. If you add up the total number of years these 31 emperors ruled after their coronation, you get a very, very specific number, 403. Not 400, not 405, exactly 403. So think about it. You've got these three numbers floating around, 31 emperors, 13 names, and 403 years of rule. Is this just, random collection of historical trivia, or do these numbers connect in a way that just defies pure chance? Well, the theory we're exploring today argues it is absolutely not a coincidence. All right, so if this isn't just a massive coincidence, where in the world would such a precise code even come from? Well, the theory points to a key, one that's been hidden in plain sight in one of the most famous books in the world, the Bible. And we're talking about one specific verse, the very first verse of the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word. The claim here is that in its original Greek, this one verse holds the numerical source code for the exact pattern we just saw in history. So you're probably asking, how do you get numbers from a sentence? Well, it's through this ancient practice called Gematria. The concept is actually pretty simple. Every letter in an alphabet, like Greek or Hebrew, has a number value assigned to it. You just add up the value of each letter in a word or a phrase to get a total. That's it. And this is how the math apparently unfolds. If you apply Gematria to the original Greek text of John 1:1, you get a total value of 3,627. Now, at first glance, that number looks totally random. But check this out. It factors down neatly into 39 times 93. And the code goes even deeper. 39 is just 3 times 13, and 93 is 3 times 31. And just like that, two of our key numbers pop right out. So this is the crucial point right here. Encoded within this one foundational biblical verse are the prime numbers 13 and 31, and they're linked by the number 3. These are the supposed keys to unlocking that whole historical pattern we saw just a minute ago. So how does this biblical key fit the historical lock? Let's take our code, these numbers, 13 and 31, and go right back to the Holy Roman emperors and see what happens. And here it is. This is where the connection becomes, well, pretty undeniable. The 31 emperors, they directly match the number 31 from the code. The 13 names, they match the number 13. And what about that really weird number of ruling years, 403? It's not random at all. It is exactly 31 multiplied by 13. I mean, wow. The historical data and the biblical code, they just align perfectly. And it doesn't even stop there. If you look at the Holy Roman Empire's kings, not just the emperors, in that 403-year period between 911 and 1313, guess what? The exact same pattern shows up. 31 kings who used just 13 different names. The same numbers, 31 and 13, popping up all over again. The theory even points over to neighboring France, where other strangely rigid patterns start to emerge. For example, for nearly 400 years, not a single king was named Charles. And then, for over 250 years, every single king was named either Philip or Louis. The argument is that these aren't just natural naming conventions. They are way too perfect, way too structured to be just a coincidence.
So this all leads us to the big question. Are we just looking at one of the most incredible, mind-blowing coincidences in all of history? Or is this evidence of something far more deliberate, something designed?
The source material we're looking at, well, it doesn't mince words. It calls this, and I'm quoting here, a conscious construction at the desk according to the Bible code. This suggests that the historical record itself was actually shaped, maybe even curated, by scholars, monks, or the people writing it all down. So the ultimate claim here is staggering, really. It's not saying that God divinely intervened to make the numbers fit. No, it's saying that humans, historians, scribes, maybe even the rulers themselves, deliberately constructed their own history to mirror a numeric ideal they found in Scripture. So they weren't just recording history, they were actively creating it to fit a sacred pattern. And that's where we're going to leave it for you to think about. The patterns are right there in the data. The mathematical connection is crystal clear. So if it's not a hidden code, if it's not a conscious design, then what in the world explains this absolutely perfect alignment of numbers across centuries of European history?